We've got a rematch, sports fans, and a lot has changed since these two teams last played in the NBA Finals in 1999. For instance, I counted no less than 22 post-ups between both teams in the first quarter alone. Everyone posted up, regardless of position back then, and it came as no surprise that the team with Tim Duncan and David Robinson would prevail in a slow-moving, paint-clogged series. Cut to 2026, and we're going to see this version of the Spurs try to rush down the floor for open threes as much as possible. In their March 1st meeting with both teams at full strength, they try to catch Cat reacting slowly to the skip pass, giving sharpshooting Vassell a good look from three. If Cat is going to miss at the basket, they'll leave him behind for a 5-on-4 as often as possible, and once Wemby cuts through to pull OG out of the way, it leaves Brunson stuck in a 2-on-1 while Champagnie lights it up from downtown. The Spurs aren't leaking out early for these fast breaks. They were just committed to beating the Knicks down the floor every chance they got. And they again catch Brunson having to guard two and get a little lucky that Champagnie can't knock down the open shot. The Spurs have a number of players with speed that can get to those corners quickly. Even Wembanyama got into the act, causing a very long closeout that led to a foul and 3 free throws. This break was notable because of who they were attacking in the open court. Vassell doesn't think twice about pulling up over the shorter Brunson and just nailing the three in his eye. Not much he can do to stop this. Which brings us to how the Spurs want to attack in the half court. With an explosive guard like Castle, it makes sense to ball screen with whomever Brunson is guarding, as he immediately gets blown by. But when you have defenders like Bridges and OG to cover for you, finishing at the rim becomes a lot harder. They'll also use Brunson as the ball screener to simply get the dominoes to start falling, as the step-up screen is just a small part of the attack. Notice how they're simultaneously setting a flare screen for Wemby, which sucks OG into the paint and opens up the skip pass. The rotations are in full swing as the Spurs get a long closeout to attack, and if only Fox had swept the line in the same direction as a drive, this would have been an open wing three. The question is whether Cat will guard Wemby or not. When they played in San Antonio and for the NBA Cup, we saw OG guarding him, which could be good for the Knicks since OG can keep him from driving to the paint, but can't stop him from shooting right over the top in the mid-range. But in this game, we saw Cat on him quite a bit, and the Spurs smartly ran this set where they screen Cat with Brunson's man off the ball. Brunson doesn't communicate the screen well enough, Cat gets picked off, and it forces Brunson to switch to Wemby, and if the Spurs get this matchup, it'll either be a score or a foul every single time. Here it is again, and even if Brunson tried to step up since his man was a second screener for Wemby, it would have no effect on the shot, and Cat doesn't navigate pin-down screens very well. We hardly saw Wemby handle the ball in the pick and roll versus OKC, but they tried it because they can get Brunson involved as well. While Wemby did get deep penetration near the rim, they did a decent job to rotate and recover, but Castle has been a much better shooter in the playoffs, and the Knicks can't consistently give up these kind of looks and get away with it. Here they are attacking Cat as the ball screener's man, and the Knicks' solution is to rotate a third player all the way across the court. This could have opened up a one more pass and an even bigger advantage, but Wemby opts for the semi-open 3-ball instead. If they do intend on guarding Wemby with Cat, he'll have to avoid getting distracted by off-ball screens to the point where he doesn't know where the ball is and that Wemby is now shooting a wide-open shot. But if he does keep his hands active, there is the potential to at least make a couple of plays to deflect the dribble loose into a turnover. There is no shortage of playmakers on both ends of the floor for each team, which is why it'll make playing PrizePicks so much fun. They're now a preferred partner of the NBA. All you have to do is pick higher or lower on a variety of box score categories. While the NBA season is almost over, the summer is packed with things you can play on PrizePicks like the WNBA and the biggest soccer tournament in the world being played on American soil. These are my picks for Game 1, and I went big with a 5-pick power play that can more than 10x my money if they all hit. My favorite thing to do is flex play, where I don't even have to nail all my picks to win. Download the PrizePicks app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, a preferred partner of the NBA. I feel the way the Knicks have a chance to beat the Spurs is by being a high-efficiency juggernaut in the half court, exploiting mismatches wherever they can. Expect Brunson to attack off the dribble and try to engage Wemby. If he sinks too far, Brunson will hit a ton of threes in the Spurs. And he'd better not do the flopping thing in this series. The refs aren't going to call anything easy as it gives Brunson a straight line drive for the layup. One surprising thing is that they had moments where they guarded Cat with Castle. Rather than straight post Cat up, they strangely went to a pick and roll, which allowed Castle to switch back onto a normal matchup, but the reason they did this was to get Fox onto Cat. The Spurs were willing to do this since they know Wemby will guard Josh Hart and simply ignore him and his ineffective jumper on the perimeter. And this will be a key. Hart will get tons of wide open looks. Will he settle for the three and give the Spurs what they want? The Spurs will counter this by scram switching Fox out of there, but that opens up the backdoor cut for Hart, smartly moving into the open space instead of just standing in the corner spotting up. This might be my favorite set of the playoffs, both for conception and execution, as it starts with a double drag screen for Bridges that is slow to develop, but they take advantage of Wemby's soft defense on Hart to flash into the high post, Brunson running blind pig action, but it's really Cat's roll turned backdoor cut that caught Wemby completely out of position as Towns gets the dunk. The key is for Brunson to be so convincing that he wants to shoot it on his drives that Wemby has no choice but to rotate over and help. None of those quick U-turns on drives we saw from OKC, and that will directly open up shots for the Knicks from all over the floor once Wemby is out of position to properly help. If there's one player uniquely qualified for this, it's Brunson, and the nice complement of scorers and shooters he's got around him ensure that they'll be able to punish and exploit the Spurs defense in ways that the Thunder did not. Their secret weapon is Cat in the high post, an action the Knicks didn't figure out till after these teams played each other in the regular season. So expect him to get a lot of use out of it, and check what he did to them when he began to do a post-up and they decided to aggressively double Towns. This pass is just wicked, and the kind of thing he's capable of if the defense is intent on stopping him from taking advantage of smaller defenders. Rather than go away from Wemby, they'll try and get him up into the pick and roll and bring him out away from his box and Wemby zone that they like to employ. If they can do that, they'll be able to get shots at the basket. Tough ones that Wemby will surely block on occasion, but it also leaves the Spurs open to giving up offensive rebounds. And if you give the Knicks too many opportunities, they know how to eventually make you pay like Bridges does here against the scramble defense. The Spurs will no doubt put Wemby on Hart and dare him to shoot the wide open three, but it then means Cat can hover near the basket against guards and vacuum up offensive rebounds for extra possessions, which the Knicks will desperately need to compete. The war behind the three-point line will also be a key factor, and across their three previous matchups this season, you can see that the Knicks were able to maximize them much better than the Spurs, giving them a legit shot at overcoming the odds and taking the title back to the Big Apple. After vanquishing the short-handed Thunder, it might feel like the Spurs and their newly anointed MVP from France are inevitable, but I'm telling you, the Knicks have a lot to say about that.